Still sporting that cast as well on his left hand, though admittedly not as bandaged up as it was in recent weeks, so signs that he is also close to having that hand out of a cast, perhaps. Not that he's been overly limited in his performances, if you watched them recently. As always, on these live streams, it's nice to know where in the world that you're tuning in from. Having a look at has already outscored the top, or the joint top scorers from the Bundesliga campaign last time out. Niklas Füllkrug and Christopher Nkunku getting 16 goals apiece. Harry Kane already on 18. That's also a single season record for an English player in Germany's top flight. Kevin Keegan and Jadon Sancho both had campaigns where they scored 17 goals, but Harry Kane with just 12 games played in the Bundesliga season, already with 18 to his name. Not just that, if we're talking about the Champions League as well, he's scored 4 goals in his first 4 Champions League games for Bayern. That is the joint most by a player. Roy Mackay also scoring 4 goals in his first 4 Champions League games. But you've got to think he'll be itching to get his name on the score sheet again tomorrow, as he always is. See the snow still falling at Zebenerstrasse. Always interesting to see who goes with what combination of outfits to stay warm. The eagle eye of you may already have noticed, but great to see Jamal Musiala back in first team training. He's been working hard on his comeback with individual training sessions. He's been working with a physio as well, independently, on his recovery. I think it'd be a surprise if we were to see him in the starting lineup tomorrow against Copenhagen, but nevertheless, good to see that that recovery is going well. And we could see him in the matchday squad. Because even if you can only get 10 minutes out of Jamal Musiala, they're normally 10 minutes that catch the eye. Leon Goretzka still sporting that cast as well on his left hand, though admittedly not as bandaged up as it was in recent weeks, so signs that he is also close to having that hand out of a cast, perhaps. Not that he's been overly limited in his performances, if you watched them recently. As always, on these live streams, it's nice to know where in the world that you're tuning in from. Having a look at the Facebook chat as well, so do get in touch, let us know. Already I've got a hello from Vietnam. But we know that Bayern have a worldwide fan base, and we like to celebrate that fact as well in the moments that we get to. This isn't an open public training session, though admittedly I think you'd have had to be a very hard-headed Bayern fan to turn out in this type of weather. Nevertheless, it's enjoyable to get a look behind the scenes. As we say, we've got people tuning in from Trinidad and Tobago, from Cambodia. Always good to see. Konrad Laimer and Thomas Tuchel were the ones that faced the press earlier today. Laimer making the comment about the fact that just when you hear the Champions League anthem, when you can wear the Bayern shirt and play in the Allianz Arena, then there is always that feeling of wanting to win. Fact is, while Bayern have already wrapped up top spot in Group A, there is a lot to play for the other three teams in the group, including Copenhagen, who currently sit in second place but level on points with Galatasaray. Galatasaray at home to Manchester United in the early kickoff tomorrow, which will give Copenhagen an idea of just how much pressure is on them to maybe upset the odds and produce a positive result against Bayern. Admittedly, Galatasaray, all of the Bayern players will attest to how difficult it was to get a result in that stadium for them. Remember Harry Kane talking about needing several hours for his ears just to recover from the amount of noise made and the amount of whistling done in that stadium. The fact is, though, Copenhagen may need a positive result. Bayern are not going to make it easy for them by any stretch of the imagination, because as stated earlier, they've got those records that they're wanting to extend. 17 group stage wins in a row, 38 group stage games unbeaten. Both ongoing Champions League records. So I've asked you to put in the chat where in the world you're tuning in from, of course. Also like to hear some scoreline predictions for tomorrow, so let me know what you think the score is going to be, who's going to be on the score sheet. And we'll see come around about 11 o'clock tomorrow. German time, of course, that is. Whether anyone hit the nail on the head. It's interesting to see that Thomas Tuchel didn't make any substitutions in the 1-0 win against Köln on the weekend that saw Bayern maintain their unbeaten start to the Bundesliga season. Still, they trail Xabi Alonso and Bayer Leverkusen, who turned 42 on the weekend and celebrated with another win in the Bundesliga. Him and his Leverkusen side equaling the record best ever start to a Bundesliga campaign. That was set by a certain Pep Guardiola and Bayern München back in the 2015-16 season. That is the only reason that Bayern are in second place in the Bundesliga right now, because in pretty much every other season, 32 points from the opening 12 games would have been plenty to top the table. 43 goals in 12 match days, also a Bundesliga record. I've got one prediction coming in already. I'm going to assume it's man-like Amino, and I hope I'm not really mispronouncing your first name if that is the case. But he says Harry Kane will score tomorrow. I'd like to hope he will.